All right. Let's go ahead and just jump right into it, which is let's first talk about the big one, which I think is the Sam Darnold talk and how Sam Darnold supposedly is better than Brock Purdy. That is over. It's all done. We don't have to worry about that anymore. Anyone else who has that kind of opinion is just in denial at this point. We got Val in the house. Good to see you. Good to see you. Sam Darnold, yeah, he had a pretty good year, 14 games that he played. But let's take a look at his stats, actually, and we'll compare them to Brock Purdy's 2023 season. And hold on real quick. Let's go Sam Darnold. I'm a little unprepared. I'm not going to lie to you. Papa J's showing some love. That's what I like to see. Let me look it up real quick. NFL QB stats. All right. And while I look that up real quick, yeah, so Sam Darnold is obviously cannot handle the pressure. He cannot handle the big moments, the big situations, especially against the Lions. You kind of saw it. You're like, okay, maybe that's just like a one-time thing. Maybe because everyone is allowed to have a bad game. You know, Brock Purdy's had bad games. Lamar's had bad games. Joe Burrow's had bad games. You know, just really look terrible. Even Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, right? But as for Brock Purdy, man, as for Sam Darnold, you knew this was going to happen because he never truly had a big game moment. Primetime games, sure, not as big as compared to like what you have to getting the W to get the number one seed. Also, the wild card game against the Rams, who were struggling on offense. Up to this playoff situation, they were struggling on offense. There was an opportunity to take advantage of these Rams. This Rams defense played well. Sure, they played pretty good, especially in the first half. The O-line for Sam Darnold wasn't very good. It was not very good. I'll give him that. But if you really go back and look on it, and I don't have the stats up here right now, but Sam Darnold held onto the ball for 4.72 seconds on average. 4.72 seconds on average, that motherfucker held onto the ball, and that is insane. That is an insane amount of time for Sam Darnold to hold on to the ball. He didn't throw it away. He was terrible on screens. When they needed him most, he could not pass the ball to save his life. They were underthrown behind. I think he may have thrown like 1 or 2 dots in that game. 4.72 seconds on average is, I think, would be best in the league. The man did not know how to take care of the football. Also, sometimes when he's in the pocket, he would break out of his protection and get a little bit like come to the left, like that fumble, for example. He should not have come out of that pocket and then Witherspoon came in and had that strip sack on him. That strip sack was on him. That interception that he threw to Kobe Durant was terrible. The man was covered from the jump, and he threw the ball to him, seeing ghosts. And if you actually go back and look at that play, there's a player. I don't remember who it is, but there's a crossing route. He gets wide open. If Sam Darnold throws him the ball, it is a first down plus, barring he doesn't, underthrow it or throw it behind him, of course. But there's opportunities out there. There were some screens he missed. He missed like 3 or 4 screens. Screens, the most basic average play of any fucking quarterback out there. All right. I haven't seen that bad of screen plays like that since Blaine Gabbert. And Blaine Gabbert couldn't even throw a screen pass. It was terrible. So this notion that Sam Darnold is better than Brock Purdy, because Brock Purdy in the biggest moments, such as facing Brock Purdy in his big moments, rookie year, wild card wins, divisional wins. The only time he loses in that game was because he tore his PCL and it was the second drive of the game. Right? He's out of it. Next time he goes to playoffs, wins the divisional, wins the NFC Championship game, and goes to the Super Bowl in overtime against a quarterback and head coach duo that is considered one of the greatest of all time. Not only that, he got closer than any other quarterback that year to beating that team. So to say that Brock Purdy is like, oh, well, these quarterbacks, maybe you should be paying these quarterbacks in general because obviously they can't get it done. Brock Purdy gets it done. He's the reason we beat the Lions, being down by so many points. He's the reason why we beat the Green Bay Packers, down by so many points. Brock Purdy wins big games, and do not tell me he can't win big games because he didn't win the Super Bowl. Sorry, playoff games are big games. Those are big fucking games. Playing for the number 1 seed and battling for it are big games. So to say that Brock Purdy can't win those big games is ridiculous. He did it his rookie year and did it the next year he went into the playoffs. Playoffs are a different breed. They are a different breed, different situation, as clearly you saw it. Sam Darnold knew that all the pressure was on him and he couldn't handle it. Jordan Love couldn't handle it. Justin Herbert, people say he's better than Purdy, couldn't handle it. These quarterbacks can't handle it. Brock Purdy can, is proven to be. Because no matter what Kyle Shanahan is, no matter what weapons around him, if Brock Purdy couldn't handle the big moments, we never would have came back against the Packers. We never would have came back against the Lions. We never would have went into overtime against the number 1 defense in the Chiefs. Barring Chris Jones being unblocked, that game may have been different. We don't know. There is so many things that you can say where it's like, okay, well, like come back to it where like, okay, you shouldn't be paying these quarterbacks because they can't do it. Brock Purdy can do it. He's done it. Joe Burrow has done it. He's gone to the Super Bowl, won big games. Guess what? Lost in the Super Bowl. So are we going to say Joe Burrow can't win big games now? Are we going to say that? Are we going to say that Joe Burrow cannot win big games? Because that's what you'd be saying. And don't tell me he doesn't have weapons. T. Higgins, Jamar Chase. Stop it. Stop it. Absurd. Okay? Brock Purdy can win big games. He deserves his contract and deserves the money he's going to give it to him. Because what matters, regular season, sure, he doesn't win the MVP, right? Has a little bit of off season, a little bad season this recent season. But even though all the variables were all against him, injuries, defense is bad, holdouts, the rest, everything was terrible. Everything was working against him. But I promise you, if he got in the playoffs, he would have performed significantly better than these quarterbacks would have. Significantly better. And the proof is in the pudding. He's done it twice in a row. The only time he's been stopped is because literally an injury stops him from throwing the ball, or Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid, who are considered the greatest of all time at their positions, stops him and went into overtime. So to say this, ridiculous. Ridiculous. Sam Darnold is not better than Brock Purdy. Jordan Love is not better than Brock Purdy. Justin Herbert is not better than Brock Purdy. Because we all know what you do in the playoffs matters. And what they did in the playoffs was the reason why they lost. Brock Purdy was not the reason why we lost the Super Bowl. Brock Purdy was the reason why we won against Detroit Lions. Brock Purdy was the reason why we beat the Packers. Brock Purdy was the reason why we beat Seattle and Dallas that year in his rookie season and went into the NFC Championship game. It wasn't Brock Purdy's fault that we lost in overtime against Patrick Mahomes. So pay the man. Pay the man for that trait alone. That trait alone should get you paid. Because those quarterbacks don't just fall out of trees, my man. They don't. He's got it. He's got it. This year, Brock Purdy felt like everything was on his shoulders, and he had to make it happen. And Brock Purdy did that. He did that in the playoffs the last year, not this recent year, but last year before that, and year before that. He did that. This year, he felt like he had to do a little bit more. And I don't blame him. I don't blame him at all. So that's my defense for Sam Darnold over Brock Purdy situation. I think it's absolutely ridiculous that people are still sticking to it and then saying, well, then you just can't pay him because these quarterbacks can't do it when Brock Purdy has done it. Right? So how can you say, oh, and now you're switching up. Oh, well, Love can't do it. Herbert can't do it. So maybe these quarterbacks are holding him back. So you shouldn't pay him. Brock Purdy literally did it. So how does that excuse make sense? Get the fuck out of here. You don't have an excuse. You sold your soul. You sold your pride to Sam Darnold. You put all your eggs in the one basket to Sam Darnold. And you failed to the people who are Sam Darnold defenders. Now you have to wear that on your sleeve. Deal with it. Stop trying to deny it. Stop trying to hide from it. Accept it. Say that you were wrong. Because there's no excuse. Like I said, Sam Darnold choked in the playoffs. Couldn't do it. Then your next excuse was, Well, you shouldn't be paying these quarterbacks because they can't do it. Brock Purdy did it. So where's the excuse? Are you going to say Joe Burrow can't do it? Because he went to the Super Bowl and lost, but he could do it. You got nothing. You got nothing. Pay the man. Pay the man. All right. We got some comments here.